Do you see my little child back there? Luna, I see you. Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. I feel a little bit rusty because I haven't filmed in a couple weeks. Well, I haven't sat down to film a video. So I'm like trying to get back into the groove of it. And I figured this one would be a good video to do because it's not going to be super long. And I feel like it's time for an update. I have gotten asked a couple of times if I could share an update on this. So I feel like I'm ready to do that. Even though I feel like there hasn't been a lot of changes, I'm just ready to share like a progress update, especially for those who are interested in purchasing a tissue culture. It's Monstera Bulbasaur, and I got this TC over Black Friday. So 12/9 is the date that I actually, sat down and did this and filmed that video. So if you missed the first video of the process of deflasking it, I can link it. And so 12/9 to today is roughly 6.5 weeks. I think when I was looking at the calendar, today marks day 50. I probably would have done this a couple of weeks ago, but we were out of town and I didn't want to make any changes while we were gone just in case something were to happen. So it's pretty much in the same setup. I do have ventilation holes and I'll go through when I did those, but the main reason for keeping it like this was so that it didn't dry out because it's in a tiny thing of soil. I just knew while we were gone in my cabinet it was going to go completely dry and I didn't want that to happen, so it was able to stay a little bit more moist. The first check-in that I did was 12/14. So that was roughly, that wasn't even like a week later, maybe like 5 days later. And it looked about the same. It was doing well since, the deflasking process. You could see the condensation build up in the cup, so it was retaining moisture and it seemed stable. It wasn't declining or anything like that. I felt like my TC was pretty healthy. I remember from the video I had one root that came off, but it still had like a decent little root system. And I still have I don't think I've lost a leaf. I have all the original leaves still on this plant. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe one of the leaves yellowed. Did it? I don't remember now. My memory's a little foggy. Plus I was like sick over the holidays. That was awful. I was sick for like over 3 weeks and I'm finally feeling better. It's crazy how long that little bug lasted. But my memory, I feel like everything's just been a blur. But yeah, it looks pretty much the same, except it has grown, I think, 2 new leaves in that time. So I'm still like trying to gather how quickly this plant is going to grow. I do feel like from this point on, I should get more steady growth, especially as we creep closer and closer to the warmer weather. I know we're technically still in winter, but again, I have had this plant in my IKEA cabinet the whole time, so it is more warm and more consistent. There's not like huge temperature fluctuations. So kind of backtracking to the 14th. So yeah, it looked about the same. I just wanted to, pull some footage or give you some footage of what it was actually looking like. And so from that point on, I pretty much kept an eye on it every week. And then the next footage I got was on January 2nd was the next set of clips that I took. So at that point, it was already working on a new leaf, which I think it's this one here. I'm gonna give you a closer look at it here. So it was unfurling a new leaf at that point, and it was actually growing in. You can actually see that it was growing in some more roots, which was really exciting to see it, actually starting to grow more. And at that point, I decided I had kept it under like more humidity, probably longer than I needed to. You don't really need to keep them under high humidity for a super long time, at least, I don't know, a week or 2 to kind of help them adjust, and then you can slowly acclimate them to more ambient conditions. So at that point, I decided to poke some holes in the top here. I have 4 holes just to let in some airflow and get it used to more normal conditions. And this is, like I said in that video, this isn't, even though I have it taped, it's not sealed. Like there's a big airflow gap in here. So it's really not like super high in here. This is just providing a little extra. And like I said too, since we were gonna be gone, I didn't want to take this lid off and let it dry out because I knew this little cup was going to go completely dry if I did that. So technically it's been sitting like this since January 2nd, and it's almost the end of January now, which is crazy. So definitely didn't need to keep it like this for that long, and we're actually going to go ahead and take the lid off today, which means I'm gonna have to keep a closer eye on it and make sure it doesn't go dry. And since the second check-in, it has now pushed out 1 more leaf. This one was unfurling right before we left, and so I didn't really get to see like the full leaf yet. And now that we're back, it's like completely unfurled and it's bigger. And you can also see the variegation a little bit more. But yeah, we are going to completely take the tape off and let it breathe. Breathe more. Oh, it's so cute. So yeah, we had that leaf and that leaf. And then that's the leaf that was unfurling after, I think it was January 2nd. Around that time, that leaf had unfurled. And between the 2nd and now, it had put out like this one a couple weeks later. And you can see how much taller it's gotten. But you can see the variegation pattern a little bit more. So the new leaf will come out of here. And I do think it looks bumpy enough that it's going to put one out soon. And you can see, I actually have a cup in the cup, so it's not actually potted in here. And you can actually see all of the new roots it has grown. So it's still a pretty decent amount of root growth in that amount of time. Now I don't have any drain holes in this cup, so I think I want to fix that today. I was thinking about like upsizing it or repotting it, but I definitely don't want to do that because even though it has a good amount of root growth, you can actually see one circling here. I don't want to disturb this at all. I think it's really focusing on establishing its base, and until this is actually really rooted, I don't want to disturb it and set this tissue culture back any at all. So I have my soldering iron. I'm going to poke some drain holes and then just sit it back in the cup like that as like a little saucer, and then just let it, you know, be in my cabinet conditions. It's still like decently moist in here. You can see that there's a little condensation. I don't know if the camera is making that out. And I also have not added nutrients yet. So the next time I go to water, which will be in a few days, because I'll be watering my plant room in a few days. If it doesn't dry out before that, I might need to go in there tomorrow or the next day and check. But I'm going to slowly introduce my nutrients. I was just being extra cautious. I didn't want to like over fertilize or anything, but I feel like it's time to start introducing some nutrients. So what I'll do is just my normal dose. I'll probably just dilute it by half. I'll probably do that for like the first few waters, and then I'll start to feed it my normal nutrients. I am curious how it's going to adjust and do over the spring and summer, especially as it warms up. The only experience with Monstera tissue culture that I have is my Monstera Flame, which those I know can be a little bit more on the slower side, but I feel like it sized up rather quickly for me from when I chopped it to like 10 months later. I have like huge fenestrated leaves. And then I have a Monstera Mint TC, which is so extremely slow. I've had that plant for a couple of years now, and it's still like a tiny plant. That one is not really growing much at all. So I am very curious how this one's going to compare and do to the Monstera Mint versus the Monstera Flame. Okay, I moved over here for a second by the window with the plug, but that's another look in some better light. It's so cute. Okay, so there's no roots like right there, so I'm just going to gently poke some holes. So there's just a few drain holes added. So that is pretty much the update on this plant. I'm excited to see it grow more, and I'm excited to see a new leaf come in. So I'll take some footage over the course of the next, I don't know, probably another 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks. I guess it depends on how quickly it grows from this point on. But the next update, I would say roughly 6 to 8 weeks from now, will probably be when I actually go to repot this. I feel like at that point, it should have enough of an established root system that I could upsize it a little bit and get it into like a nursery pot with better drainage. So we'll have to see how it does, but that'll be like the next update on this plant. I'm really excited for this one though. It's like, I feel like this is going to be one of my favorites to watch grow for this summer. I just love Monstera, so I'm excited to see this one. So for those of you that got a Monstera Bulbasaur around the same time that I did, I know one of you said that you got one the same week or whatever. How is yours doing? Is yours doing okay? Is it growing about the same? Do you still want one? Are you waiting for the prices to come down? So yeah, I will check in again, like I said, in another 6 to 8 weeks or so. So I'll link this in my tissue culture playlist. If you are looking for it, I'll link the tissue culture playlist down below, as well as the first video I did on this. And yeah, stay tuned and we'll do another update here and I'll keep you updated on how it grows. Thanks so much for watching and tuning in, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.